He first appeared on the pages of Marvel Comics all the way back in 1963 and remained a popular character throughout the decades. However, it was Robert Downey Jr.'s portrayal of Iron Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe feature films that rose the character to further prominence. More popularity leads to more merchandise. More merchandise leads to more toys. In today's video, I share with you my Hot Toys 1/6 scale Iron Man collection. Hi everyone, this is Ken with Toy Connections. If you would like to see more figure reviews, figure comparisons, toy histories, collection footage, and toy insights in general, please be sure to hit subscribe, click that notification bell, and press like. Well, this is by no means a large Hall of Armor setup, and I've certainly seen some really impressive ones out there. This is what happens to fit inside the bookcase that I have chosen. So as part of this episode of my Toy Collection Showcase series, I will share with you the armors that went into this collection, as well as the Tony Stark figure that came in the Hot Toys MMS 191 set. The long and short of it is that I have selected the Mark IV and Mark V versions from Iron Man 2, as well as the Mark VII that appeared in the 2012 Avengers movie. I have also added the War Machine Mark II to my collection, although I'm aware that the War Machine armors were worn by Colonel James Rhodes rather than Tony Stark. So beginning with the Mark IV and why I chose it, I really feel that this color scheme embodies the traditional Iron Man look that we saw in the Silver Age, Bronze Age, and Modern Age of comics, not to mention other forms of media such as the cartoon. In the Marvel Cinematic Universe, this armor was primarily worn at the start of Iron Man 2 as a replacement for the Mark III that was heavily damaged in battle with Obadiah Stane in the previous film. As for the Mark V, it was also worn in Iron Man 2, albeit in Tony Stark's battle with Whiplash. Its purpose was to be a more portable armor for easier access, seeing as it could fold into a briefcase to be carried around more readily. That said, due to the portability feature, it wasn't as heavily weaponized, so it lacked some of the combat features when compared to his other armors. Personally, I got this armor because I found that the unique nature of it was quite interesting because it's different from the usual ones that he wears. The red and silver scheme gives enough of a color contrast with the other armors in my Hall of Armor, and for that reason it stands out for photography. Add to the fact that in the movie it folds up into a briefcase, and well, there isn't really another armor that's like it. As for the Mark VII shown here, it is indeed my favorite, partly because I like the silver highlights that go with the traditional gold and red design, but mostly because of what else it represents. It was the armor he wore for the big battle of New York in the Avengers film, and on that note, Tony wore this right at the end of that fight scene in his heroic flight mission to divert a missile up into a wormhole in the sky, all at the expense of his own safety and well-being. For this reason, I was thrilled to find this figure at the 2014 Fan Expo in Vancouver. As shown in the film, the Mark VII had enhanced flight capabilities, and I'll never forget the scene where Tony says, "We have a Hulk," to Loki. Then moments later he was thrown through a window before calling upon the Mark VII, putting it on, and flying back up to confront Loki. And because I've always loved the concept of War Machine, this War Machine Mark II version fits well into my collection. Having Colonel James Rhodes fly side by side with Tony Stark always made for an impressive scene in terms of having two suits of armor fly into battle, whether it is in the Marvel Cinematic Universe or other forms of media. This particular Hot Toys figure is constructed out of a lot of die-cast materials, and for that reason, it's actually much heavier than your typical figure. Okay, so let's have a look at the Hall of Armor structure itself, as it gives quite an amazing diorama feel to any display. The light-up capabilities definitely give this set a more realistic movie-type feel and makes for an eye-catching collection setup whether you're seeing it on a virtual tour like this or in person. The Hall of Armor does come with a set of adhesives to go at the front of each armor bay, so if you are one of the lucky ones that can have a full set of the first 7 Iron Man armors, this is a cool feature to further accessorize it. And of course we round out the display with Tony Stark himself. This one that I got is from the MMS 191 Armor Testing Workshop set that I mentioned earlier. This set comes packed with a ton of accessories, be it workshop display pieces, a large circular stand, or many various attachments that you can use to recreate the atmosphere seen in the Iron Man 3 film. Unfortunately for me, my shelf isn't deep enough to display all these accessories, but it is still fun to have the Tony Stark figure posed in front of the Hall of Armor with some of the accessories from this mega-sized set. So with all that said, and with all the armors that I do happen to have and the Tony Stark figure, all this comprises the small-sized Hall of Armor in my collection. In a perfect world, I would have loved to have an extended Hall of Armor with the Mark I due to what it represents as the first armor, the Mark VI due to its neatly shaped triangular arc reactor, or the Hulkbuster, even if it would be too large to fit in the hull itself. Having said all that, this is a display that I am happy to have and happy to share with all of you. For that matter, I'd also love to hear what you guys consider as your favorite Iron Man suit of armor in the comments section, or what pieces you would love to feature if you had a dream Hall of Armor display, regardless of scale or budget. Anyway, that's all for now. I certainly had fun filming this and sharing it with you guys. As for you guys, please like and share this video if you enjoyed it as well. Follow me on Instagram, and I'll see you again soon with some more cool and fun toys. Take care.